Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the latest tropical weather update here. It is currently 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on May 28th, 2025. And as you can see here, NHC is issuing advisories for the Eastern Pacific on Tropical Depression 1E. That was formerly Invest 90E. It has since strengthened here into a tropical depression. So this is the approximate area of it right now. As of the 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, May 28th, advisory number 2. Its maximum sustained winds are at 30 knots or 35 miles an hour. Its minimum central pressure is 1006 millibars. It's located 12.8 north, 104.9 west, and its movement is north-northwest at 8 knots or 9 miles an hour. So, if we go down here, this is the headline for this advisory. Depression expected to strengthen into a tropical storm on Thursday. So sometime tomorrow, the National Hurricane Center is expecting this storm to become Tropical Storm Alvin. So we'll go through the cone and rip current and all that stuff here in a minute here. However, what we are first going to do is go into the public advisory here. And also, excuse all the coughing and that stuff. I do now, for whatever reason, have a cold or something similar to that. So you'll just have to excuse the coughing and the videos that I do here. But anyway, bulletin. Tropical Depression 1E Advisory Number 2. NWS National Hurricane Center, Miami, Florida. EP 12025. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Wednesday, May 28th, 2025. And then headline, once again, depression expected to strengthen into a tropical storm on Thursday. The summary of the 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 0300 UTC information. Its location is 12.8 north, 104.9 west. It is about 770 miles or 1,240 kilometers south-southeast of the southern tip of Baja California. Its maximum sustained winds are at 35 miles an hour or 55 kilometers an hour. Its present movement is north-northwest or 335 degrees at 9 miles an hour or 15 kilometers an hour. Its minimum central pressure is 1006 millibars or 29.71 inches. As for watches and warnings, there are no coastal watches or warnings in effect at this time. And then the discussion and outlook here. At 9 p.m. CST 0300 UTC, Center of Tropical Depression 1E was located near latitude 12.8 north, longitude 104.9 west. The depression is moving toward the north-northwest near 9 miles an hour or 15 kilometers an hour. This general motion is expected to continue through Thursday night, followed by a northward turn on Friday and Saturday. Maximum sustained winds are near 35 miles an hour with higher gusts. Some strengthening is expected during the next couple of days, and the depression is forecast to become a tropical storm on Thursday. And the estimated minimum central pressure is 1006 millibars or 29.71 inches. There are currently no hazards affecting land, and the next complete advisory on the system is at 4 a.m. Central, 3 a.m. Central, 4 a.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. Pacific. And then this advisory was put out by forecaster Reinhardt. So now that that's out of the way here, we can take a look at the forecast advisory. So Tropical Depression 1E Forecast Advisory number 2, NWS National Hurricane Center, Miami, Florida, 0300 UTC, Thursday, May 29th, 2025. Tropical Depression Center located near 12.8 north, 104.9 west at 290300 Z, position accurate within 40 nautical miles. Present movement toward the north-northwest or 335 degrees at 8 knots. Estimated minimum central pressure 1006 millibars. Maximum sustained winds 30 knots with gusts of 40 knots. Winds and seas vary greatly in each quadrant. Radii and nautical miles are the largest radii expected anywhere in that quadrant. So that's all. So they are requesting for 3 hourly ship reports within 300 miles of the system. And I will say as well, this is a very large system. And I'll show you guys that here in a minute when I jump over to Radar Omega. But now we will go into our forecast discussion here. Once again, Tropical Depression 1E discussion number 2, NWS National Hurricane Center, Miami, Florida, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Wednesday, May 28th, 2025. The sprawling depression has shown a modest increase in deep convection closer to its low-level center in recent satellite images, but most of the fragmented convective bands remain further away in the western semicircle, with little overall structural change. Latest satellite intensity estimates support holding the intensity at 30 knots. Overnight ASCAT wind data should provide more insight into the current intensity and wind field structure. The estimated initial motion is north-northwestward, 335 degrees or 8 knots. The more northwestern motion is expected on Thursday before amplifying upper level disturbance offshore Baja California and induces a northward turn on Friday into the weekend. The NHE track forecast has been adjusted slightly to the right the cycle, roughly in between the latest simple and corrected consensus aids. The depression should strengthen into a tropical storm during the next day or so within a weak vertical wind shear environment over the warm waters. The amount of strengthening that occurs will depend on whether the broad cyclone can develop a tighter inner core before conditions become less favorable late this week. As the system gains latitude, strengthening shear and a drier, more stable air mass will disrupt its convective organization and result in weakening. Cyclone is forecast to become post-tropical by 72 hours and dissipate before the end of the day 5 forecast period. Based on the latest track and size forecast, tropical storm force winds are not expected to impact the coast of mainland Mexico or Baja California. So they haven't really had it intensify further over the past 8 hours or 6 hours. They're keeping it a mid to high end tropical storm here as of the 11 o'clock advisory. Which, honestly, I expected that, and the Discord server I'm in as well suggested that this would be a high-end tropical storm and not a hurricane. However, as the National Hurricane Center has said, if it develops a tighter core, it could strengthen a bit more than it would without the tighter core. But now, here, let us first take a look at the wind speed probabilities. So, obviously, the higher wind speeds are going to be out in the ocean here. The only place that really could see tropical storm force winds currently are these islands right here, and that's only a 5 to 10% chance currently that you'd actually see that happen. Take a look at the arrival times. So, once again, not much. If you're on these islands here, you can expect tropical storm force winds between Thursday, probably between Friday at 8 a.m. onward. So this storm is moving somewhat quickly here. Wind history, obviously, there isn't anything there. Let's take a look at the cone here. They are expecting this to become a tropical storm fairly quickly here. Probably by the next update cycle, or next 2 update cycles, they are forecasting that this will be a tropical storm. Probably by about 6 p.m. on Friday, or even 6 a.m. on Friday is probably when the storm will hit its peak intensity. And then quickly weakens after that and dissipates by late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. And obviously, rip currents. Not sure what the samples show us here. And there isn't really anything here for in terms of rip currents or rip current risk. So, with that being said here, let us jump over to Tropical Tidbits. Hopefully it's working. Maybe. Possibly. Potentially. Don't tell me Tidbits isn't working again. Man. Okay. Good. Maybe. So this is the current satellite imagery of our depression here. Obviously, as you can see here, once load, it does have a more concentrated area of spin right in this area here. And we did recently have a convection burst right over the center as well. So that's something we have to take note of here, is that this thing might be gaining strength here, right in the middle of it. There might be some dry air entering the system from these sides over here, which might be hindering it. However, I won't know until I take a look at the water vapor. And there isn't really much dry air. There's dry air up to the northwest of it, but it should begin taking that turn to the northwest soon. So really, it has a lot of moist air to work with here. So now what we will do here is first take a look at the North Atlantic, see what's going on over here, because we are about 3 days out now from the beginning of the Atlantic hurricane season. Um, Something forms up near Maine. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, when is this actually? That's Wednesday, June 11th. When is that? That's about 3 weeks out, so we're in fantasy land at this point currently. But that's something to take note of here. That GFS does have a system forming here in the Gulf in about 3 weeks here. Once again, that is Fantasyland, and that likely is not going to happen. However, something to take note of here. Then at the end of it, it has a pretty decently strong system in the Gulf here. It honestly looks in the last frames here, it does look like that system is sort of stalling out here. But now that we've taken a look at the Atlantic here, now I'm going to look too in depth on this just because there's a high chance that it doesn't happen. That's still something to take note of here is that GFS does have something within the next 3 weeks here. So now let us jump on over to the Eastern Pacific and see what's going to go on with 1E, soon to be Alvin. So that's currently where Alvin is, or Tropical Depression 1E is. Not Alvin yet, but soon. Thinking forward in time here, it's to be a mid-end tropical storm here, according to the GFS. And then quickly weakens and dissipates. Then nothing really. And then by the 5th, so this is a week out from now, or about a week out, we have a new system developed. It actually gets to be decently strong. 952 millibars. That's a strong hurricane there. That's a violent hurricane, like EF3, not EF3, geez. Category 3 or higher. So that's pretty interesting to note here. That GFS does have another hurricane in about a week here. I don't think they've tagged it yet. And they haven't yet. But that quickly weakens and